My name is Master Pauling. Happy New Year to all my friends. Now the year coming up, 2020, is a year of metal rat. So it's a lot of metal and water in it. Rat is the first sign of the 12 signs. That also sparks off a new beginning. But this year is quite tricky because the governing number for this year is the number 7. And in terms of Feng Shui, 7 represents receding and also represents instabilities and warring. So that means this is a year of very many unstable events going to happen. Now let's analyze the main thing. On the good side, the money center for 2020 is on the northwest side, and the speculative money center is on the northeast side. So these two corners are good centers. And the worst and most troublesome centers on the east side, okay, which is called the 5 yellow center, followed by the dead south end, which is called the illness and also triple conflict center. So if you look at the whole world at large, so the country that may run into trouble such as financial or natural disasters would include places like Japan and Taiwan, okay, like earthquakes or tsunamis or volcanoes in some cases in the Eastern Pacific. Okay, but on the south side, that means that south such as Indonesia and down to Australia, New Zealand, they may have a lot of conflicts, financial conflicts, natural conflicts, so could be talking about volcanoes again, and also financial instabilities, political instabilities in those regions. Okay, whereas China is sitting on a good position. It will begin with a lot of hard work and then end up to be flying in the year 2020. And USA would have a lot of ideas, but by the end of the day, a lot of things will be only half finished. So a lot of starting up but not finishing. Now that means constant changing of political policies and economic policies. Canada is in the argument center. So the major problem that may happen to Canada is major deficits. And that may also cause a lot of political arguments and debates. So we really need the country politicians to have some kind of long-term vision, which is grossly lacking in this country. It's the best country, but lack of a vision. That's unfortunate. And I think the best way to save this country is to absorb more and valuable and wealthy immigrants instead of just refugees. Now, in terms of the business sector, metal water are quite weak this year. The strongest will be wood, fire, and earth. The most typical metal sector would be automobiles and metals themselves. The nature of cars are quickly changing. So for example, it's a transition from gasoline to electricity, etc., etc. So it causes a concern, but also changes concern with the major oil companies behind oil, so it may not be an easy transition, but it's happening. So as a result, a lot of cars may not be selling as satisfactorily as in the past. So it's a tricky year for that. And water typically would include logistics, transportation, and travel businesses because it's on the weak side. So for friends going to other countries to travel, make sure you check out the places about people problems or natural problems, just to be on the safe side. And these long-distance bus drivers better pay more attention to the roads instead of causing more accidents. Now, on the good side, the most typical wood would be clothing, Chinese medicine. Now, this would include some mergers going to happen, but mostly will be new styles and new demands for special clothing. So for people in the clothing business, this could be a breakthrough year. But the most important part is fire, which is typified by high tech. So don't feel pessimistic about these high-tech sectors. In fact, they are going to lead the economy. For example, Apple's, Google, Microsoft, Amazon are going to do very well this year. And in China, Alibaba, Tencent, and also Huawei and Baidu are all going to fly. So all these e-commerce are going to change also, but to balance out, retail sector is also going to be modified, going to change. But high-tech sector, nonetheless, will lead up not just to the better economy itself, but also lead up to the third thing, real estate. Because the most typical Earth sector, it would be real estate sector. Now, in terms of real estate, among the three major countries, China, USA, and Canada, China will lead the group. Now, within China, the South Triangle, there's a Pearl River Triangle, typified by Guangzhou, Shenzhen. Now, this time will be southwestern China, including Zhongshan, and also other places in the neighborhood with the high-tech developing. So high-tech, in effect, will lead up to the higher cost of real estate. So these places will do marvelous this year. Whereas Shanghai in China would be a little bit unstable because of 5 yellow force. And also, in terms of USA, the money centers on the northwest and the northeast side. So the Silicon Valley all the way up to Seattle will do marvelous this year, real estate that is. And places such as New York and Boston would also be really flying high. All these, but whereas the south parts such as Texas, Louisiana are going to be very stale. And then Florida will be a lot of people movements, moving in and out. So real estate will be stable, but not like flying high like the other two regions. In terms of Canada, real estate, Vancouver will be stabilized a bit, will actually do better than last year. But the key city will still be South Ontario, especially Toronto. So because Toronto is in the travel center, a lot of people mobilities. And the most typical high-flying area will be South Downtown Toronto, especially along the Annex area. And in terms of money centers in Toronto, Richmond Hill is a bit ups and downs, okay, but too with some stabilities. Money centers will be in both Vaughan and also Markham. These places are places to watch out for some real good value, and they're going to fly high for this year.